What a year. 2023 was undeniably packed with awesome games and will go down as one of the best years in gaming. Of course, I enjoyed a bunch of games too, so I wanted to show you my top 10 games for 2023, and I'm pretty sure that some of my picks are on very few other lists. What are your favorite games of 2023? Let me know in the comments. Blasphemous 2 is better than its predecessor in every single way, because it took the shift I wanted it to take. The first entry was a Souls-like with Metroidvania elements. The sequel is the exact opposite, and I loved it so much. The 3 new weapons not only provide much more complexity and variety in combat, but also function as excellent movement tools that are incredibly fun to use. Level design is top-notch since the shortcuts are satisfying, checkpoints always placed fair, and the locations distinct. Exploration is super fun because backtracking is never overwhelming and there are plenty of secrets to find, and the stuff you find was way more rewarding than in Blasphemous 1. Overall, Blasphemous 2 not only is a fantastic sequel, but an absolute banger of a Metroidvania. Lone Fungus is a Metroidvania that I liked even more than Blasphemous 2. The main reason for that is the moment-to-moment gameplay. In Lone Fungus you get a ton of different abilities, and almost all of them are super fun to use and provide value either for combat or exploration itself. The sheer amount and frequency you get abilities and therefore new ways to play is second to none and creates an almost addictive gameplay loop. Exploration was exceptional because of how many secrets you can find that are all worth your time. My absolute highlight though are the optional precision-based platforming sections that reminded me a lot of the Path of Pain from Hollow Knight, only shorter and way more forgiving. Lone Fungus not only is one of the best Metroidvania of 2023, but one of my favorites ever. I love Star Wars. I grew up with the original trilogy and Empire Strikes Back is my favorite film of all time. So naturally I always crave for good Star Wars games. While there are great games like Knights of the Old Republic, I think this is the best Star Wars game to date. The story is thrilling and engaging, mostly thanks to a fantastic cast of characters that are well acted and therefore feel incredibly authentic. But there are also some twists and other surprises that are memorable and really caught me off guard. The gameplay is even better than in the first entry for a number of reasons. The multiple planets are now way more open, which makes exploration a joy, and since you get more and more abilities over time, you can do some backtracking, which adds just the right amount of Metroidvania feel to it. Combat has also improved, mostly because you have more distinct weapon options like a two-handed lightsaber or lightsaber blaster combo. I heard many people complain about technical issues, but although I played this day one, I never had any issues, so my experience with Jedi Survivors was simply a blast, and I can't wait to see how Respawn follows up on that great game. Believe it or not, but Thief Rhythm Final Bar Line is in my top 5 most played games this year. This may be a very simple, straightforward rhythm game, but for me, this is my new feel-good game that takes me back to a time where playing Final Fantasy was the only thing I had in mind. Playing through the history of Final Fantasy music not only was an absolute joy, but it's something I constantly come back to and basically play this once every 2 weeks. And honestly, there's not much more to say about this. Sure, it has some light RPG elements that give this game a structure, a framework that guides you through it, and this definitely made me enjoy this game even more. If you love Final Fantasy and appreciate its music, try out Thief Rhythm Final Bar Line. You won't regret it. This is how you remake a game. Star Ocean Second Story R is a fantastic JRPG that mixes a medieval setting with futuristic elements and tells a simple but still captivating story with memorable characters. The improvements Square Enix made to this version are perfect. The combat is much more fluid, just a bit more complex, but most importantly, way more fun than in its original. The new arranged music is easily one of the greatest soundtracks of this year, and the graphics are a joy to look at. Square Enix managed to introduce Star Ocean to a larger audience with this game, and I'm very happy about that. It's no longer the forgotten cousin of Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, but now stands tall and shines like it never did before. Another remake, I know, but man oh man, what a fantastic one. I never really played the original Dead Space, so I kinda went in blind and was absolutely blown away by how well crafted this is. While the story itself may not be Dead Space's strength, everything else is. The atmosphere is dark, dense, claustrophobic, and the feeling of isolation strong. The level design is top-notch because areas are interconnected and some set pieces themselves are cleverly designed, which makes some simple encounters a memorable experience. This level design and the great atmosphere are the reason why this game is really scary and doesn't need too many jump scares. Combat is also a thrill because enemy design is varied and disgusting. On top of that, there are some great sections that shake off the gameplay quite a bit, like the Zero Gravity and much more. The Dead Space remake is easily the scariest game I've ever played, but the horror is so incredibly well made that I can't wait to either replay this or get a remake of the second game. To be honest, I feared that Final Fantasy XVI would be horrible before it came out, because I found it difficult to assess. But after just playing it for a couple of hours, I was impressed. And after the credits roll, I was blown away. Blown away by the dark and emotional story that was so captivating that I was surprised how much of a lasting impression it made on me. Blown away by the epicness and spectacle of some events, especially some icon battles. Blown away by how much fun combat was, thanks to a seamless switch between icon powers and therefore the possibility to create my own flashy combos. And blown away by the graphics and dynamic soundtrack that elevated this game to a truly cinematic experience. Final Fantasy XVI may not have the deepest RPG mechanics, which is a shame, but it's a bloody good action game that is amongst my favorites in the series. Metroid Prime is one of those games that hold up incredibly well, even 20 years after its release. With the remastered version, Nintendo managed to improve on exactly the right aspects, like perfecting the controls for the Switch and improving the visuals, making this one of the most beautiful games on the Switch. The sense of exploration and use of abilities are designed brilliantly, because you always get excited after obtaining a new ability, since you get access to a bunch of new paths and secrets to find. Metroid Prime also captures the feeling of isolation and loneliness like no other game, creating one of the most interesting, unique, and best atmospheres I saw in a video game. This is one of these games I will come back to and replay over and over again. Metroid Prime Remaster not only is a 10 out of 10 for me, but one of the greatest games ever created. Okay, if you watched any of my videos, you knew that this game would be on this list. Sea of Stars may have its flaws, but still, without hesitation, I call this an utter masterpiece. It's packed with love and references of retro RPGs from the SNES era, while creating a fresh and modern JRPG experience that is second to none. Combat is mostly inspired by Super Mario RPG, since attacks, defense and skills can be reinforced by your inputs, making this one of the most engaging turn-based combat systems I've ever played. The pixel art with its ridiculously beautiful lighting never failed to amaze me. And the characters are likable, charming and mostly memorable. And the story, it may not be the best overall, but some moments absolutely surprised me and left me staring at the screen either mouth open, with a small tear, or shouting, "Wow, how cool is that?" for an unreasonable amount of times. And the soundtrack is a brilliant piece of art itself. Sea of Stars is one of the most rewarding RPG experiences I ever had, and it already took a spot on my list of favorite RPGs and indie games of all time. For me, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a masterpiece, period. No other game I ever played gave me a better feeling of freedom than this. That's because the tools Tears of the Kingdom provides to explore its incredible world are designed brilliantly. The endless possibilities of what you can build with the Ultra Hand are mesmerizing and truly unbelievable. I had so much fun building stuff to explore places I never thought I could reach. That way it almost felt like an addiction to explore Hyrule. Also, since the Ultra Hand is such a powerful new ability, the overworld was redesigned so that you can fully live out your creativity. And on top of that, the story is really engaging, comes with a few twists, and is surprisingly emotional. There's one part that took me off guard so hard that I will probably never forget it. And last but not least, combat feels insanely satisfying thanks to the possibility of combining pretty much everything with a weapon and the endless ways to approach combat situations. Tears of the Kingdom is a masterpiece, and I would rate it a 10 out of 10 every day. It's a game you can relax with, have an unforgettable adventure with, and experience a fantastic story. That's why I think Tears of the Kingdom is one of the greatest games ever created. Thanks so much for watching. What are your favorite games of 2023? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.